Hello, I'm here to show you the first few rows of the body of the Sleepy Snuggle-saurus ragdoll pattern. Just transitioning from having the two hind legs here. This is the first one I made. It's not yet closed. The foot is stuffed, but up here it's not. This is the second one, and it's still attached to my working yarn here. So got my 6mm hook still. You will first follow row 11, well technically 12 of the second hind leg. So you'll close it up, just go through both sides, single crochet 4 across, 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then now we're going to start to create the center of the body, so between the two legs. And to do that, first of all, those 4 stitches do count in our stitch count for this first row of the body. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches. Now we're gonna chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now here's where we bring in the first hind leg we made. If you've already woven in this tail, that's fine, or you can wait until after this step to do it. We're not going to use it. It's just fastened off there. So now we're going to close this leg up with another 4 single crochet stitches. 1. Can be hard to see your stitches with this big bulky yarn, but I just kind of feel around until I feel the stitch. 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we have 4 single crochet, chain 5, 4 single crochet, and that is row 1 of the body. So to work row 2, chain 1, and then make sure you turn your work like you're turning a page of a book. Now we're going to increase in this first stitch, so 2 single crochet, 1, 2. Then there will be 3 single crochet across the top of this leg. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to single crochet in this chain 5 right here. So 1. I kind of like to use the hook part to grab between the chain. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now we're going to do 3 single crochet across the top of this leg. 2, 3, and then in this last one we'll do an increase. Okay, so that ends row 2 of the body. Again, this is just a tail. Feel free to weave this in right now if it's bothering you or if it's in the way. Now we're gonna chain 1 for row 3, although it's gonna turn into a round of the body. Turn your work this way. And now to stop going in rows and begin going in rounds, we're going to single crochet in what is right now the front loop of row 2 of the body. And then once we reach this end, we'll flip it around and single crochet in what is now the front loop of this row. So it'll create a little bit of a flap right here, and then from there we'll just keep going around and around and around. This is probably the trickiest or most frustrating part of the whole ragdoll design, just because it is hard to see the stitches. So what I usually do is I insert my hook, like that's where I would go if I was doing a regular single crochet. There are 2 loops on my hook as well as my working yarn. So I want just that front one. So after I find it, I insert it there in that front loop and single crochet. So we're actually going to do an increase in this one. So go back through that one you just did. Increase right there. Then we're going to do 14 single crochets across, just, you know, 1 single crochet in each one, 14 stitches across. Sometimes I can find the front loop by just hooking it up like this. Other times when I'm unsure, I do like to go through where I know a regular stitch would go and then backtrack and find that front loop. So just kind of play with it. Luckily it's only for once around that we have to do this. It doesn't, and won't, you know, it's not the whole rest of the pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That one's being tricky, so I'm gonna find it. 5. Oops. 6. I promise this part's even frustrating for me, so don't feel bad if you're over there struggling. But I think this yarn is worth it. 7. Come here. Talk to it, that'll help. 8. 9. 10. 11. 12. 13. This last one's always a little bugger because that back loop wants to drop back out of the way. You just can't let it do that. There we go. Now I have both of them on my hook, so I kind of backtrack a little bit and just grab that front one. 14. So now we're going to turn our work this way. Now we're going to work in what was the back loop, but now since we've turned our work in this perspective, it is now our front loop. So this first one's hard to find, and it's always, for me, it always seems lower than what I think it should be, because you know these stitches here from what we just did are quite a bit higher than the last round. So just kind of dig around in there until you find it. This first one's always hiding. There we go. So we'll do an increase and another 14 stitches across. I like to push back the last round I did because that just makes me remember to not be looking high up here, because then you're going to be in the row that you're trying to turn into a round. So push that back out of your way and then kind of dig for those loops. Well, front loops. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 13, and 14. And like I said, that row 3 of the body is probably the trickiest, so I hope it doesn't discourage you, and I hope this video helps. You should have this nice little flap forming now. If this doesn't look as deep, if yours doesn't look as deep as mine, it's probably because you didn't get that front loop. You might have gone in a, the third loop or something of this row just a little bit higher than what you should. I would frog your work a little bit back and try to go a little bit lower to find that front loop, what used to be the back loop. And it should be like this. Then from here for round 4, or I'm sorry, row, yeah, round. Now we're in rounds. Round 4 of the body. You're going to turn your work again like this. And this is where I insert my stitch marker. I like to use a different color thread or yarn right here. And you'll just start the next round right through here, through your first stitch. And then from there, you continue just going around and around in spirals, moving that stitch marker whenever you finish each round. And from there, it should be pretty self-explanatory. I hope this helps, and let me know if y'all have any questions.